It is truly the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Ebenezer Methodist Church, Ghana. We are located at 5112 Berwyn Road, College Park, Maryland. We are looking forward to be blessed with a great word from God. We are going to dance and fellowship and worship in oneness and in spirit and in awe. Wherever you are joining us from, if you're on Facebook, our handle is EMC Maryland. If you're on Instagram, it is EMC Maryland. And if you're on YouTube, it is channel 5112. Stay tuned and we will worship together. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Happy Saturday to all of you. How are you and where are you? My golly, Derek didn't give me even a minute to post my stuff. He went live on us like that. How's everyone doing? Happy Saturday to all of you. Oh, thank you for joining. I see you, Miss Mary Cobold, Miss Felicia Mensah, Miss Clarissa. How are you all doing? Happy Saturday. How was your Saturday? How was your week? How is everything going? If you could type it in there when you join us, please say hello, right? You have to type in hello so we know you are here. Good. I see the numbers going up. Beautiful. Good to have you here. So my week has been great. I go back to Maryland last night, and I have to say that I am a very terrible traveler. I am learning. I still somehow, I can't seem to pack my stuff light. I'm down to 2 suitcases. So that means that I'm doing well, right? That means that I'm doing very well. I mean, just traveling with 2 suitcases, 50 pounds, or I think 45 pounds each, that's good. That's good. So, the hustle and bustle of just going through airports here and there. But other than that, I'm home. And it's a blessing to be home, to family, to be able to sleep in your own bed, wake up in the morning, have some tea and all kinds of good stuff. So I'm very excited. And I hear your week has been blessed as well, even though I can't see you all unless you post something. You post something there, but you know what we are here for today. Yes, I have this amazing woman here. She is you want to talk about those people that I call rock stars, like women who do it all with a heart, with passion, with love. Don't complain, don't nag. You are about to meet one of the creme de la cremes in this county, in this country, in the state. So I encourage you to do me a huge favor, though. You have to alert everybody else that needs to be on here that it is on. Us Africans, right? Even when we have to do virtual stuff, we are late. We're always trying to get our makeup and other stuff on. Even if you told us to just show up in our own homes, we'll be late. Oh my goodness. We got to get better. We really have to get better with this. All right. So thank you all. Today's weather is kind of interesting, isn't it? It feels like a typical winter weather. I hate to say this, but I love winter. Yes, I do. I know you all don't want to hear it. I am not a huge fan of the heat. I mean, we come from Ghana. Come on. The weather is like what? 80 plus degrees all the time. I can't breathe when the weather is so humid. And I love winter. I think I love my sweaters. I have probably one of the best jacket collection. So I really love winter for that reason. I get to wear all my jackets and stuff and my coats and the big ones, the fun ones, the crazy ones. So I love winter for that reason. But yeah, I'm not complaining. I woke up this morning, I did something very weird and odd. The weather was like 60. So I decided to pull my car out in the driveway and hose it down with all the dust and everything. It felt good. It felt good. Just doing basic things. Basic things. It feels good to do it. Feels good to do it. All the same, we're here. We're here today. So do you know that every time that we talk about women's rights, right? Women's rights, women's this, and then people think it's this whole feminist thing, feminist movement. I've always said it here. I'm not a feminist. I'm a womanist. I am all for women. For women, our growth, our knowledge, our resources, support, and women's right has nothing to do with a feminist movement. It's understanding what you can do as a woman, what you are capable of, and that's why I felt it was important. And all this year, for the most part, we were treating the women in the Bible. And I have to tell you that I stumbled upon the Montgomery County Commission for Women. Even in Ghana, there is a ministry, right, for the Minister of Women and Gender and all kinds of stuff. It is important because in as much as we're all women, sometimes we don't even understand what we qualify for, what we don't qualify for. What are some of the things that we can do even among ourselves as women to be able to support? So I wanted an opportunity to help somebody, and I kept doing some research, and I stumbled upon this link, and I said, oh wow, there's a women's commission. I read about what they do, and I said, let me reach out to them to get help for this person. And believe it or not, here we are. I ended up talking to them, and I realized, no, what they are doing in the society is super good. So how about we bring the chairperson, that's the chair of the board, on to talk about it. And as I did some research about her, she actually does so much with women in her day job. And I thought, what a blessing it will be to have her here today. All right. So let's say a quick prayer. And then I'll patch her in. And please, if you have questions, type them in as we go along. All right. Please type in your questions. This is your chance to learn for yourself, for your daughters, for your granddaughters, things that you could show them, things that you could teach them, things that they have to know as well. Is that okay? All right, let's say a quick prayer. Father, we thank you for this day. We bless you for the opportunity that you've given us to be here today. We are grateful. And we thank you for watching over us, giving us traveling mercies for those of us who are out of town and all. And Lord, we are asking, oh God, that today and this afternoon, every word, every wisdom, every information, every knowledge, oh Lord, let us sink deep down in our spirit and give us the opportunity to learn. And Lord, the opportunity to contribute to our society, to be remarkable women, and to stand out in our communities, to help the ones that cannot be helped, oh Lord, and to love the ones that even seem unlovable. We thank you and we bless you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, beautiful lady. I see all the hellos. Thank you, Miss Edith. Thank you, Auntie Nana. So good to see you again. As soon as you join, please say hello so I know you are here, because that's the only way I can know you're here. We see the numbers who are watching, but when you say your hellos, when you pop in to say your hellos, that's how we know you are here. Okay, Derek, let's take a quick break, and when we come in, you're going to bring in Ms. Donna for us. But while he's doing that, please invite all your friends. The Women's Fellowship, the Girls Fellowship, the older ones a little, please invite all of them to join us. All right? Thank you. Thanks, Derek. Hello there, Miss Donna. How are
Hello.
you?
I am well. I am well. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Well, first of all, thank you so much for spending your Saturday afternoon with us. I know you're a very busy woman. That's even an understatement. But we want to really, really appreciate you and welcome to Woman to Woman. We are broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, and we have people who tune in from everywhere, including UK, including Ghana, Germany, all of it. So while this might be centralized for the United States, we have people who've watched the program at all over. And I think whatever information we share here was something that could bless them no matter where they are, right?
Yes,
That's fair
indeed.
to say. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How are you? How was your week?
I am well. My week was great. Can't complain. Won't complain. It
And
was amazing.
happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Everyone, please type in happy birthday. It was her birthday on Thursday. Please type in a happy birthday. I wish I brought a choir here so that so that at the end of the program we can literally sing a beautiful happy birthday. But I'm going to try. My voice is not that great. We'll try. We'll try. We'll try. So thank you really. And I was sharing with you how I stumbled on Jody, and Jody put me in touch with you. There was a lady that reached out to me, somebody that I know in town. Well, I didn't really know her well, but now I know. She
Mhm.
reached out to me. It was some kind of a family issue, and I started researching online to get some information for her. So that's how I stumbled on CFW. And I said, wait a minute. There is a commission for women here. And I started reading, of course, because I need to connect her to you. And I looked at everything that you guys are doing. I said, this is remarkable. How come I didn't know about it? How come so many women don't know about it? And so, can you please tell us? Well, first, you're going to have to tell us a little bit more, everything about yourself, and how you got to be part of this initiative and this commission.
Well, I I'm a resident of Montgomery County, but I'm a transplant because I was actually born in New York, but I was raised in the Virgin Islands. So I'm a transplant, but I've been in Maryland longer than I've been anywhere else.
Okay.
And um I was the single parent of two young children, and before I even became involved with the commission, I back in the day I always heard of the commission. And during that time, the commission, was so robust in providing services for women. I kind of would peek in to see what things they did because I just always had a love for women, and empowering women and empowering girls. So,
Mm.
I mean, I volunteered in different aspects throughout the county at my children's school, at work, wherever I could. And my most positions before this one, I ended up working at the Montgomery County Correctional Facility. And in the facility, I worked in the One Stop Center as the program coordinator. And that center provided jo- um, job ready, life ready skills to the inmate population. And one day we received a call, and it's one of the first in the nation to actually be embedded in the correctional system itself. So you have
Mm.
a one-stop shop, just like our Montgomery, our work source Montgomery centers in the county. There was one located in the correctional setting, and one day we were asked by the commission to host them for their general meeting. So during that meeting, while I was sitting there, and then we gave them a tour of the facility. While I was sitting there, I was like, I've always heard about the commission. I saw the work that they did, and I said to myself, I wonder how I can get embedded into this system. So I contacted Jody, and
Oh.
Jody told me because it's a board, and there are times when you can actually apply for the board. I actually applied, interviewed, and here we are today.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
I've been with the commission for 4 years, and this is my second term. We actually are appointed by our county council and county executive. So once you apply, you go through a process and then you're appointed.
Gotcha. So just like, well, then it means that I wasn't totally in the dark. Like you heard about the commission as well. You didn't really even know there was a commission like that, and you stumbled upon it, but you loved what they were doing. Kind of similar to what I just saw. I'm like, oh wait, they're doing something good. So it really hasn't been. It's not something that is new. It's been here for a while.
The commission, we're getting ready to celebrate our 50th anniversary because the commission was and let me make sure I have everything. I wrote a couple notes, so forgive me for looking down.
No worries.
So through advocacy and women advocating for women's rights in the county, the commission actually was established by county law in 1972.
I wasn't born.
I was.
You were. I wasn't. Oh wow.
So when I came to Montgomery County in the 80s, the commission was up and functioning, and you would see, back then there was the Gazette, an actual physical paper. You would see different classes that were being offered by the commission in the Gazette. So I would peep in to see what classes they offered.
Wow. Well, tell us a little bit more about yourself before I move to the next question. Outside the commission, what do you do?
Oh, outside of the commission, I serve in the capacity of assisting returning citizens. My most recent position was with the Maryland State Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services, where I served as the Executive Director of Social Work and Reentry Services. And in that role, it was providing administrative oversight for a department that actually worked with assisting returning citizens, helping those who are incarcerated to come home successfully. And if I could give a little bit of history, it's how I stumbled into everything. But you know what?
That's divine orchestration.
I'm not going to call it a stumble because it's divine intervention.
That's right.
So I'm in these positions because things were lined up so God can have me exactly where he wanted me to be.
That's right.
But I'm just going to give you just a quick story on myself. When I was a young child in the Virgin Islands, 2 armed robbers came to our home and shot and killed my grandfather. This is not the work that I should be in. But years and years later, I am actually working with that population. I am actually, and something in me said, well, why are you doing this? And I said to myself, and God kind of gave it to me, you are where you're supposed to be, because if you can help someone not to go through what the men who killed your grandfather went through, then you're doing my work. Because it wasn't about me, it was about his work. So I stumbled into this, but it was actually me being aligned to do this work.
No kidding.
I'm also
wow, the things we go through in life, huh? I feel like it's God uses those things as a platform to glorify himself in other people's lives.
Exactly. Because that was a tragic and traumatic experience. And to now sit before people who are
like had walked into your home one time, took the life of your grandfather on your watch, and now you're supposed to love them, show them compassion, and help them integrate themselves into society. I mean, you should be asking them to be locked up forever, right? That?
And
oh my God.
And that's how society thinks. And I'm going to be, and for the viewers, I'm very transparent.
Oh, you have to.
And I will
transparency.
And I will say that society, including church folks, frown their nose upon those returning. And if we're truly about God's work, we have to open our arms and embrace the incarcerated, the low socioeconomic population, women who are not like us, or are not well put together. We have to make things inclusive instead of excluding people. So that's where I got to with doing this work and serving women.
Wow. But you know what is interesting about what you just said? That's really the life that Jesus led. I never saw, as I read the Bible and you try to picture the places that he was in, you close your eyes and try to picture, but he was never around perfect people. He wasn't. His goal about go and fish, because first of all, he really couldn't stand the religious people. He couldn't stand them at all. And he was the one that would reach out to the unreachable, love the unlovable. I mean, for all these women, the women at the well, the one they were about to stone, things that we have learned to, shirk off. Okay, I don't want to deal with this person, but that's the very person that Jesus will reach out to. And especially for me within the last 3 months, like he is connecting me to women. And I said, the whatever God is laying on my heart to do is really not for church folks. It's for the women that are outside the walls of the church, that we can draw them in and love them no matter what. And that is how I found myself spending hours and hours researching for a woman who is not even a Christian. She's a Muslim. And she reached out to me for help. And that's how I stumbled upon the Commission for Women, because I was trying to get some resources for her. So, wow, what a blessing. But before we go further, I want to ask you, there is this thing about women's rights. As soon as you talk about women's rights, people think you're starting a riot or starting a movement or whatever. Can you help us understand a little bit more?
When we talk about women's rights, it's about serving a purpose. So as we look at the Montgomery County the Commission for Women, we look at this 15-person board. So there's 15 of us that actually serve, that have been appointed by the county council and the county executive. We're volunteers. But the role that we play is we're advising the county executive and the county council to assist women in the county that may be in disparate situations. And that's all of us when you think about it, because we advise them on different bills. We examine laws, policies, practices, procedures that identify disparities that impact women. So I think a lot of times, like you said in your introduction, we get women's rights and feminism. We get all of that mixed up to a certain
very
point.
mixed up. We get it.
And I think what we have to understand is, as women, there are rights that we have to fight for. Let me just give a few of those. Paid family leave. Sometimes it's difficult for women especially to get paid family leave. We may have family medical, the FMLA, but there are times when you may have just started a job and you become pregnant. And now it's time for you to have your child, and you may not get that paid leave because you haven't invested enough time into the system to get it. Even with FMLA, you have to have worked a year. But if I got pregnant within that year, now what? Some of the other things, that we're fighting as we talk about women's rights, we're actually advocating, and one of the bills that I had to do a brief on to present to our Maryland legislator is the stalking bill. There is a stalking bill that is currently on the books, but it needs to be enhanced, because guess what? People are now stalking you electronically. People are now stalking you using the internet, using social media, and there are no laws on the books against that right now. So what we have to do is actually advocate for that.
So you mean that unless it's like a physical stalking, if somebody is stalking you through the internet or whatever, there is really no law that will fight for the woman?
You can go and advocate, and you can put an order of protection in place proving that, but we need to enrich the laws so that stalking outside of physical stalking is now being dealt with. That law enforcement has to deal with that. Like if you're, just think about domestic violence, and you're having a domestic violence issue with your ex-spouse or a spouse that you're trying to divorce, and now they're stalking you using the telephone to see where you are because you both are on the same plan. We have to put protocols in place to stop that.
Wow.
Because it's
Wow.
not just the telephone, it's attaching GPS to your cell phone, to your car, tracking where you go. All of those things can encompass stalking.
Interesting. So, you know, I'm glad we're having this conversation because there are a lot of things we talk about, and as women, we don't even think about it until something happens, right? And I used to torture myself watching forensic files and investigation discovery. I literally became paranoid walking around. Like, if you drive behind me for so long, I got to change my lanes. And the things that we learn as women, and you're forced to learn them because you're watching a show and it prompts you. But I think in our day to day life, we don't even think about that. But I know about stalking because I believe over 10 years ago, I had to go to court against a man that was stalking me. And it wasn't a pretty thing. He literally um, was given a warning to stop and didn't stop. You know, didn't stop, and you feel like you have to go and protect yourself now on your own somehow. Had to learn some self-defense stuff, and just to make sure that in case it gets worse at people, because people have a reason why they get obsessed with somebody and they have to literally chase you down for that. So it's really good information to have. Now,
Let me just real quick, two of the other bills so that the women understand how we play a role is two bills that passed in Montgomery County that we were a part of was the Natural Hair Act. The natural
like
now
wearing our hair the same way.
it actually in some places is prohibited nationally.
Oh, really?
So women who have dreadlocks, natural hair like we do, braids, bantu knots, in some workplaces, they are forbidden. You cannot have natural hair. And they frown upon it. They don't hire you because of it. And Montgomery County was one of the first counties in the nation, along with New York and California, to actually pass the Natural Hair Act, the Natural Hair
Oh, we
Care.
gotta be grateful. Like you have
Yes.
to literally. So there'll be places where I will be forced to put on a wig just to. We
And
still
one
have a
other
long way to go.
one that we actually fought for was the Pay Equity Leave Act for government employees.
Mm.
And that bill dealt with as a hiring agency, it's now prohibited against asking an individual about their past salary history. Because now, if you can view someone's past salary history during
You
the
want to
hiring
pay
process,
them? Yeah.
you're going to think about how you're going to pay them. Do I want to
Hmm.
pay them here or do I want to pay them there?
Yeah.
So Montgomery County actually passed the Pay Equity Leave Act for government employees. So that is not something that is an issue with the Montgomery County. I'm sorry, the Pay Equity Act. So they don't have that issue in Montgomery County with Montgomery County government employees.
Wow. So let me ask in general, what motivated the commission to really, or the county to set up a commission like that? Is it that the lawmakers or the policies were just really not geared, or people were not understanding women and what we need? What was the motivating
I
factor?
mean, if you go back and start to think, well, you weren't born, so let me give you.
I
If
know,
you go
right?
back and start to think about, if you go back and start to think about the issues
Mhm.
that women had in the 70s,
Mm.
we were fighting for so much. I mean, I was a child, but I just watched my own mom, who ended up becoming an executive, had to fight to get to where she was from a career pathways perspective
Just
because
because she was a woman.
she was a woman. And in this county, there was a need for women to have a voice. Not They needed not to just have a voice, but they needed people advocating for them. They needed other women to see and speak and feel and tell their stories. So this 15-member board comes from all walks of life and from all different areas in the county. So, I mean, we have everything from lawyers to entrepreneurs to stay at home moms on our advisory board. on our board
Beautiful.
because it's
Very diverse.
essential. It's very diverse, racially diverse, economically diverse, because the voice, we have to have a voice for those women in the county that really need for them to be heard. So how do we do that? So we even have listening tours where periodically we will set up where we go to different areas in the county to hear what women are saying. What are the issues? How can we help you? What do we need to tell the county council and county executive to change, to do? So we're doing listening tours. So we are tapping in to what the needs are for women in Montgomery County. But we even take it a step further. Some of these bills that I mentioned to you were not just county bills. These are state bills. So where our voice is going from the county even up to the legislators in Annapolis.
Wow. Wow. Now, is this available in, other counties as well, or is just, just
The
Montgomery?
commission, there's a bigger commission, which is the Maryland Commission for Women, but each county also has a
Okay.
commission for women.
So at least this initiative is not like in a silo where Montgomery County is just doing their
Nope,
own thing.
nope.
But then if you go to other places, it's like, other wherever you are, just look for that women's commission in your county or your state, pretty much. Let's discuss a little bit about the work, because I know you have like different services that you provide.
Mhm.
And I think most people, and please, if you're watching, if you just joined us, go ahead. If you have any question, it's not just focused on county. She's very well read, well lived. Whatever questions you have concerning women, women's right, things that you want to know. And I think for me, it was just making sure we're clarifying, because every time you talk about women's right, people think you're starting a fight or you are trying to contend for something. But it's just so that we are well aware that there are certain opportunities that we still have not been able to accomplish because we are women, not because we cannot. It's just because somebody thinks that because of your gender, you are not able, you should not be given that opportunity. And I think that's where commissions like this, they step in to ensure that every woman is able to live to their fullest potential. If you want to be a lawyer, you can go to school, study, become a lawyer. You should be allowed to practice. If you want to fly, a spacecraft, and you can do it, you should be given the same opportunities. And you have children. If you don't have children, you're going to have grandchildren, and they would want to be able to accomplish things in life. But how do we make sure that they are not being ostracized or they are not being limited because of who they are as women, and not because he's a boy or another thing else? So let's talk about some of the services that most, and I think this is really a general thing for most commission on women. They focus on very similar things because it's a similar trend. If you go across the country, across the globe, it's the same things we are fighting for. So do you want to share a little more?
So some of our priorities, every commission is depending on what's happening in their county, will probably have different priorities. But even though their priorities are different, they still all come together
Right.
as these issues that are happening with women. So for us, we have a strategic, we had a strategic planning meeting. And after that planning meeting, our priorities are women's health. So we actually are partnering with like the African American Health Initiative, the Asian American Health Initiative, the Latino Health Initiative, to make sure that when there are issues dealing with women's health, that we are connecting those women to those free screening services like breast cancer screening. We're connecting them to the crisis center when there are issues there. Now, remember, we're a group of women that are volunteering, so we can't do everything ourselves. So we're making sure that we have partnerships with organizations like yours, with county, local government agencies to connect individuals. So women's health is one of our main priorities. Next is safety and security. We partner with the Human Rights Commission, the Department of Corrections, the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council, the Family Justice Center. And in those connections and in those partnerships, we're able to ensure and provide women with what they need to be safe in our county. And that's where the Human Trafficking Prevention Committee comes into play. Because as we know, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, human trafficking is an issue not just countywide, it's an issue
It's a
statewide.
global issue.
It's
My
an
God.
issue, nationally. It's an
Mhm.
issue internationally.
Mhm.
So we have to make sure that we are educating women on just how to be safe and secure, because they look at us as a weaker vessel, and they look at us like we're
Well, the
gullible.
Bible has literally established that we are the weaker
We
vessel.
are, but we also need to know that
So,
we're fearfully and wonderfully made and marvelous in
yeah.
our works.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that because we may be listed as the weaker vessel, we still have to protect ourselves.
Mm.
We still have to prepare. So through that state safety and security component, we actually have an offer for county residents self-defense classes. So we actually
Mm.
provide programming for a self-defense seminar. It's being done virtually right now, but that's one of the classes that I saw many years ago that piqued my interest on the commission to begin with.
Wow.
We're also another priority is economic empowerment. Through our financial and wellness seminar, we create an avenue for women to see the importance of money and how to maximize it to benefit them and their families. That's a
Gotcha.
huge component. So this year, we had a one-time workshop focused on financial planning for parents with special needs children,
Oh, wow.
because
Wow.
that's important. That's important.
Mm.
Um, the last priority that we have is women in leadership. It is
Mm.
important. If you look right now on our county council, we have one woman. Nancy Navarro is our one woman, and the
Mm.
rest are males. This year, I think we're going to up the ante, and I think next year, more women are going to run. But we need women to know that they have it within them to
To
lead.
be leaders,
So
yeah.
leading in your
I
households
mean,
already,
how many women president do we have globally? Not a lot.
not
Not a
that many.
lot. Like just
So
less than even 0.1%, you know. But women still have the ability. I do believe even stronger to lead. And there is more integrity with women than men when they're in leadership. I say that somebody had posted a picture of Angela Merkel from Germany, and as a chancellor all her life, there was not a single scandal, or like people somebody was highlighting that there was a man that was highlighting that on Facebook, that when women lead, you have that kind of that she could have been dragged into all kinds of different scandals, but no, she wasn't. Like, and I said, you know what, it's true about women. When women are in leadership positions, they are very astute, they are very head on, they're very professional. They know that they know what they're fighting against, so they're not even going to give you the chance to mess up. So it's a very important thing that we have to get a lot of women in leadership positions. Our lives
and
would be
we
much better.
and we start with our young people. We actually have an emerging leaders component where we're actually grooming and educating and providing information to our young women so that they are understanding and seeing the importance of being leaders at this age, being a
Wow.
leader in your school, on your student council.
Mhm.
It's important for us to truly empower our young people, because they're what's coming next.
Oh
And if
yeah.
we don't empower our young girls now to see their leadership ability within,
Mhm.
we're going to be in a sad state of affairs if we just have, not bashing men, but
No.
if we don't get to the table and start to provide those insights on leadership. I mean, I go back to my mom. My mom was one of several Black women in her industry to actually make it to a senior vice president, because
Mm.
it was unheard of, and she had
Wow.
to fight the men to get there. We shouldn't have to fight. That leadership should be within us, and we should be able to project it in a way where we're respected.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So those are our priorities: women's health, safety and security, economic empowerment, and women in leadership.
Okay. So there was something else I saw concerning advocacy and family matters and all that stuff. Is that something that you help with?
We are constantly on the front lines when it comes to advocating for women and their rights, just to, like, again, like I said before, pay equity, family medical leave. We're even fighting for eliminating marriage as a defense to sex crimes.
Explain that a little bit.
So what that is
Uh-huh.
if I'm married, okay,
Mhm.
and I'm being very transparent, ladies, if I'm married and I say to my husband, we're not going to be intimate tonight, and he forces me to be intimate anyway. And some, we've had instances where there have been rapes in marriages, but they don't look at it that way because that's their husband. They have a right. So now we have to stand for that and try to eliminate, because I'm married to you, I can commit a sexual assault. Cannot do that.
Gotcha. Oh,
Cannot do that. Those are some of the things that we're advocating for. Safe harbor for human trafficking victims. We're advocating for that because you may have a teenager that's been human trafficked. They're arrested for prostitution, but once they've gotten over the hump and the judicial system and have been freed from that, we're not trying to provide more
yeah.
trauma.
Hmm.
So we want to create a safe harbor where the prosecution isn't digging into them so heavy that they don't feel safe when we're trying to actually get them off the streets.
And I think it's also, begets a conversation, because how did they get into the prostitution? And that's where this human trafficking thing has been a huge topic. Actually, let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit more
I
about
I
it.
I I really, one of the things that we have to understand is human trafficking, again, as I said, is not just a Montgomery County issue. It's a
It's a
statewide issue.
global issue now.
It nets $150 billion yearly.
You kidding me?
$150 billion. And our goal as the Montgomery County human, let me backtrack a little bit. One of the things that we have to be aware of living in Maryland and living in this Maryland, DC, Virginia area is human traffic is very prominent in this area because we are not that far from the 95 corridor. And 95 goes from Florida to Maine.
Wow.
So you can get somebody out of Maryland in no time. In no time. So what we've done, and there are instances of this in this county where we've formed the Human Trafficking Prevention Committee, but it's an interagency coordination. It's not just Montgomery County. We have individuals on this committee that are with the state police, that are legislators, that are with the county police, that are doing things to make sure that we're bringing awareness in the state, but outside the state, so that women understand that this is an issue. I say it all the time when I go out, and again, I keep my head on a swivel. I'm always looking around. My head
You're not like stuck with your cell phone and no.
Right. I mean, you have to really think when you go out now, because all you need is a van to drive up next to your car
And drag you
pull
in.
you in the car. You got to be mindful where you get gas, when you get gas, when you go to the store, what time of day that you're going to the store, what's around you. Was that van next to your car when you first parked? Was that cargo van? I mean, I'm not saying be suspect of
You have
every
to be your own
car.
police. You have to be. I'd rather be paranoid about that than just walk around thinking that okay, everything is all great and dandy. And a lot
God
of
gave us
times,
God gave us wisdom.
yes,
God
we
gave us
have to
wisdom,
use that.
and we have to use it. So we're working together with various entities, especially our local police department, because you would be amazed at how, going back to the prostitution piece. So let's just say a young woman, Backpage was taken down, but Backpage was one of the mechanisms that were being used a few years back to engage women, young girls, into say, I want to, if you're interested in being a model, contact this number. Okay. So that these young women, young adults will go and meet with these individuals who then trap them into human trafficking. And then they're soliciting them at various hotels right here in Montgomery County.
Wow.
So the men will come to the hotel. They post the ad on Backpage. Men will come to the hotel, have sex with these women, keep it moving. Another man will come in. So I mean, it's local. It's so then a woman can enter into prostitution by force, be arrested, and that's why we have to have that safe harbor piece to come in, because she's been arrested because she was doing this because she was forced. So
see, now, Donna, it's not even just women though. Children are being
children.
Now, that's even the scariest part. Your boys, girls, and we're reading news. It's like a transcontinental kind of thing now from even Africa. Africa, children are being kidnapped and stolen and trafficked everywhere. It's becoming, I think it's probably the highest global pandemic you can think about right now.
It is.
It's worse than COVID.
It's the fact that it nets $150 billion
money making machine.
It's to a point, and it's not just sex trafficking. There's also labor trafficking. They're stealing people and bringing them to the United States for labor to provide services, and they're paying them nothing. They're taking away their passports. They're taking away their driver's license and making them work for nothing.
Wow.
So it's not just human trafficking, does not just encompass sex trafficking. It's also labor as well.
And especially now that it's the holiday season, people go out. So many people are out. So many parents are out shopping with their kids. And I think this is like actually a good time for them. They literally amp up their game in trafficking people around holiday seasons because they realize how many people go out, the excitement, the hustle and bustle. You lose a kid in the mall. I mean, seriously, there are thousands of people in the mall. How are you going to look down, find it? And then it becomes a whole issue for that. But I think it's a very prevalent issue. And I hate to share this part with you, but even the ones we see in Africa, they're actually kidnapping children, killing them for the body parts. There are some who also doing this for medical reasons. They need a kidney or heart. It's everywhere. It's not just even somebody pulling up and pulling you in your car. Like there are some illegitimate doctors who are harvesting human parts and all that. Is like nobody's safe. Let me just put it that way.
Somebody just said, I just saw a comment go across the screen, and the word that I'm going to use that the person said was vigilant. You have to be vigilant. But one of the things that we're doing, one of the things that the Human Trafficking Prevention Committee is doing is we've partnered with the Montgomery County Public Schools to make sure that we are educating the children. Children have to be educated, because if mom doesn't know, at least you'll get it in school and then educate mom. And even, you see children that are latchkey kids. That's what they used to call us back in the day when we had to go home and just go home by ourselves, how to be aware. You have to be mindful of what's happening around you. Walk in groups. Make sure that you are either on the phone when you're letting yourself in the house. So we're making sure that the students in the county are also educated on this.
Mm. So the labor trafficking piece, would you share a little bit more, because I think that's a part that we've never really thought about much.
So I'll use a nanny as an example. I don't know the exact network, but there are networks that are actually created where if I need a nanny and I go to this organization or this place to get a hired nanny, I now bring her into my home to take care of my children. I may not treat her well. I may take away, because she's free labor, I'm going to take away her passport, her driver's license. She's never leaving the house. All she's going to do is take care of my children. That's one form. Another form is some of these massage parlors where they're bringing them in, hiring individuals, or say that they're hiring individuals to actually perform massages, but there's a happy ending happening in the back room that's a sex
I
crime.
think there was a movie on Lifetime years ago, kind of highlighting that thing where women were being trafficked, and there was another one that I watched was on Lifetime. Oh, I used to watch a lot of Lifetime movies. You know how they do a true life story and then they would base it off as a movie, but it was really a true life about this Russian girl that was
Mhm.
kidnapped from Russia and brought here, and it was a huge sting that happened. So these things are real. They're not made believe. They're not movies. They're actually happening every day. And you are not exempt. Your child is not exempt. Your little boy is not exempt. You literally have to hook them onto your belt everywhere you are now. You cannot take chances. You cannot take chances. My
You can't.
golly, my golly. So let's talk a little bit about marriages, because why I reached out was the person that reached out to me was really having a hard time in the marriage. It's a lot of unfairness and other things is there, and then you have a lot of women in the situation that don't have money for lawyer resources. They don't know where to go, right? But what are some of the resources that are available for women like that?
So we actually have a separation and divorce series that we do. But one of the great things is that we're connected to the Family Justice Center. And the Family Justice Center deals a lot with the domestic violence component. That's where the domestic violence um, coordinating council comes in. And we make sure to partner with these organizations so that we can help women that are going through those difficult times, whether it's intimate partner violence, domestic violence, or just harassment where you can't separate from a person peacefully. We are connecting them to those services through the Family Justice Center, through the DVCC, the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council,
Mm.
just to make sure, and just some of the seminars that we have, because the separation and divorce seminar that we have speaks to this, so that women can understand what their rights are and what they need to do in order to leave a situation peacefully. And that's the big piece of this is, okay, I may have gotten married to you, yes, but it's not working, and now I really need to do something, and nobody should be able to hold you against your will in any relationship. So we're making sure that we're advocating for women and providing those services to help them.
So somebody had a good question here, and I'm going to ask this question in general before I tackle her question. We come from an immigrant community,
Mhm,
and I think most of the times you would see prevalent all these things you've talked about is very
mhm,
high in the immigrant
mhm.
community, and people are afraid to talk. People are afraid to talk. Sometimes because of statuses in the country, whether they're legal or not. And so while all these resources are great for other women who feel like I could just get up and go because I have a US passport or something, there are a lot of women who are literally dying silently because they can't speak up. What are the I mean, what would you say to that community of women that
I'm
are
gonna
afraid to come out because
I'm
of
gonna
that?
say this. if you're in Montgomery County, Montgomery County is one of those counties that are our safe harbor for our immigrant population.
Okay.
So if you go to the Family Justice Center or any community-based organization for that matter, MCASA, I'm trying to think of some of the places, the Mercy Clinic or the Department of Health and Human Services, the clinics for medical help or anything like that, your status is not going to be what stops you from getting service. Your immigration status is not going to stop you from getting services or you being reported.
Gotcha.
That's the piece that I think that you're alluding to. You're not going to be reported because you are going to a county agency for assistance, because Montgomery County is very ahead or at the lead of making sure that people who come here are safe from deportation.
Gotcha. So this lady asked a question: will a woman who is illegal lose custody of children?
No, because
What
that's
they
not
have
what
to lose if they
that's your.
want to. She had a question that Derek is not there to part, but I'm actually on my Facebook now, so I
I
can
think
see.
I see it too.
Okay. Okay.
No, if you're going for services, your immigration status is not going to stop you from getting those services. And again, you won't be on a list where they find out that you're an immigrant and then they take away your children because of that, because you went to get a service. That's not what they
Gotcha.
do in this county.
So that answers the question. So this woman that had reached out to me, the man was asking her to leave the house, right? And she had an 8-month-old and a 2-year-old, and he was insisting that you have a dog over there. No, no, don't worry about it. We love to hear their voices too. I think
No.
you're not alone in the house. You're protected, they protect you, so that's good. So it was quite a battle, and she didn't know where to go in a situation like that. So I guess, like you said, in matters that relate to children, marriage, and all that, that will be the county family justice system, right? The family law center.
The
Okay.
Family Justice Center, especially if it's an intimate partner issue,
Yeah.
if it's a domestic violence issue, but then you also have the Crisis Center. The Montgomery County Crisis Center, which is located in Rockville, has a plethora of services. Individuals who are facing homelessness, individuals
Gotcha.
who may have a mental health crisis, may have any issues that are a crisis of nature. The Crisis Center in Rockville, which is open 24 hours to assist, is also there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, let's talk a little bit about these ex-offenders that you are you are integrating into the society.
My returning citizens, my returning citizens.
Sorry for that.
No. I'm just saying. No, you're good.
I have to use the right one because I have one that I told you I mentor.
Yes.
We have a call at least 2 times, 3 times a month now, and now he allows me to record the phone call because now they could do teams. They could do teams, and I'm able to share. And it's more about encouraging the outside people on the outside. So I use it as a platform. And I think the first time I posted a video of us talking over Teams, people were so tight, like, oh my God, who was he? Why is he there? But people don't understand. There is humanity, there is rehabilitation. And I know and I understand that sometimes there is also the fear of, how well would they not go back to do the same thing? So what level of crime did they commit at that point? Doesn't matter what they commit, as long as they have the opportunity, or a board has found them, the parole has found them worthy to come back into the society, you work with them no matter what, right?
Let me say this, and I think when I say this will get us to understand this population. We all know somebody that's been incarcerated. Every last person on this live know somebody that's been incarcerated. And we may know some that have been incarcerated more than once.
Mm.
And the question, even with the officers at the within the institution, social workers, case managers, I figured this out. The question we always ask is, why are you here? Why are you here again? Why did you get arrested again? We ask the question why, but we never ask the question, how did you get here? If you ask the question, how did you get here? You would find out my parents were strung out on drugs. I was raped when I was young. I was bruised and battered. I had no home life. A teacher marginalized me. A number of things. And then when you find out what the how is, you create programs based on those hows. It may be limited education. It may be trauma. You start to look at the how. And once you deal with the how a person got into the criminal justice system, then you can help them. Now, everybody needs to know 95% of those individuals that become incarcerated are coming back home to our communities. How do you want them? Do you want them the way they went into the system, or do you want them as better people coming out of the system?
I mean, the thing is, they have to come into the system. They have to come back home. So we have to find a way to ensure that we are helping them to integrate well, and in terms of welcoming them home. I was telling his name is Austin. I said I can't wait to be holding that megaphone and the placard standing in front of Hagerstown prison, welcoming you home. Like I look forward to that day, just because I could see this. His is a very unique situation where it was a shaking child death, and
Okay.
you could tell no criminal history, nothing. And he used these moments to help me educate people out there that it's not a criminal. People who get into the jail system, some of them mostly have not even committed a crime before until whatever happened. And sometimes it could be the littlest mistake that you can make that will get you in there. I think a lot of times we look at them and think, we are so exempt from some of these things, anger, society, like you said, everything you were reading about, how they get in there. For me, it's like things that people contributed in their lives, society, whether it's a teacher, whether it's somebody getting raped, or not. It's usually is somebody that did something to them. And not everybody has the mental capacity to live beyond that. You know what? I don't care what you did. I'm going. There are a lot of people that get impacted by the things that are done to them, and they can't make those decisions. What's been challenging? Is it just people, society accepting them back, or you integrating them? What's been challenging?
The challenge, they're open to those that I have to say, there's some that need to be there and stay. But for those that want it, the integration, as long as you're able to connect them to programs. I mean, in the Maryland prison system, there's the opportunity to get your GED. There's your opportunity to get college degrees.
Yes.
There's opportunity.
I found out.
There's opportunities to even get a not just post-secondary education, but a trade. There's opportunities. I will tell you right now, I had a young man that I knew him in Montgomery County that ended up going to Hagerstown, MCTC, and he was there and he became a part of the vet dog program. And the vet dog program is the dog program where they're training these dogs to come home and be service dogs for veterans. He did that while he was incarcerated. And when he got home, he reached out to me and said, I need a job. And I said, okay, what do you want to do? Train dogs? I said, well, we might have to get you into something else just to get you your feet in, your feet wet on working. Nope, I want to train dogs. I said, Lord Jesus, help me. So I connected him to a young adult advisor who connected him to Petco in Rockville, where he was hired as a dog trainer making $25 an hour, and now he's their regional Mid-Atlantic trainer.
Are
And
you kidding me?
he was just released last May of 2020.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So
Wow.
I'm saying all that to say is it's not hard when they're ready to really change their lives. But here's the problem that society what society does. They ostracize them, marginalize them, and they don't want to hire them because of their record. In Maryland, you can look up anybody's record. All of you
Actually,
are
free book. Yeah, I realized the Maryland case
Maryland
search.
Judiciary Case Search is free.
Mhm.
I could look everybody on here if I know your first and last name and your birthday.
It's online. Maryland case search. I've
Maryland Judiciary
done
Case
that.
Search
Yep.
is free.
Yep.
So you don't even have to pay to find out somebody's background.
No,
All you
you
need
don't.
to know is that information and you can see everything. But guess what? Employers don't even know how to read that. They don't even know what they're reading when they look at that, because they may see a person's name, but don't even look at the case to see maybe there was a null pro. A null pro means the case was thrown out. That person wasn't prosecuted for that. And again, how do we want them coming back? Right now, because of COVID, there are lots of jobs out there. And
A lot of people don't want to go back to work. They don't want to go back to work.
and
So
we have a viable group of people that are coming home that are ready to work. They just want the opportunity.
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, and this has to do with the church community, because I know you work a lot with religious institutions, and I've always thought about it. I said, if we really, rescuing the lost and the perishing, and these the organizations that we should be partnered with as a religious community.
Yeah, I really think, but here's the thing, everybody wants to come behind the walls, meaning they want to come up and they want to do a church
Do
service.
prison ministry, yeah, inside the wall.
Prison ministry all day long.
Mm-hmm.
But when that person walks out from behind those walls, that's when we need the church. That's when we need the church to have transition homes. We need the church to have mentorship programs. We need the church to embrace them and say, we truly love you. Not just when they're behind the walls and we're doing prison ministry.
I know. I think it makes them look. It makes most churches that do it look good. They go in, do the taping, and we've done prison ministry. But I thought about it when I read about what you do, and I'm thinking, you know what? Shouldn't this be the focus of all the religious institutions, that we want to really rescue the ones that are not with Christ? How find a way to integrate them into the society, counsel them, bring them to the saving knowledge of Christ, because that's really where our bread and butter is, to convert people. If we're really out there and we're really about winning souls for God.
And I'm glad that you say that, because it is important to bring them into a knowledge of the truth. But I'm gonna tell you, this population will see you as fake as you can be if you're not true to what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come behind the walls and you're talking about Jesus, and then they tell you, well, I'm getting out in a couple of months, what services does your church have for me? And you go, well, I'm not sure. Let me get back to you on that. That's not what we want to do. We have to be careful now. I mean, I'm saying that this is a population that understands crime. This is a population that can be manipulative. However, though, we have to make sure that we understand the population that we're working with, and that we're safe with the population that we're working with, and not opening ourselves to be vulnerable to anything as well. But if we do it in a collective community and not just onesie twosie, I think we have an opportunity to bring them in, and they not see the church as just this ministry that works behind the walls, and then when we come home, we can't be bothered with you.
Because so I think from what you're saying, it would be good for churches to partner with agencies like yours, right? that are out there, because then there is a tracking process. You know that this person is on the auspices of this church. I mean, when they're paroled, there's really a tracking going on there.
Mhm.
So that will be more of a collective effort. But either that or not, they can still walk into any church building and become a member of the church without you even knowing, you know?
Right.
So
But
if there is a proper procedure,
mhm.
that
The
would be
commission
wonderful.
also does stuff with the incarcerated too. We actually have where when women come home, they can actually join a group that is of their peers, ran by a licensed clinical social worker, helping them to integrate back into the community as well.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
So how can people reach out to the community for assistance? I mean, the commission for assistance.
So, of course, the commission, they can reach out to the commission via, I have to remember Jody's, remember our commission number off the top of my head. We're on
Yeah,
Facebook. The Montgomery County Commission for Women is on Facebook. I'm looking for their general number. I'm
I
sorry.
have the number here. It is 240. I because I have your website open the whole week.
Okay, 240-777. Is it
Eight,
83?
yes, 8333 240. And Derek, I didn't give that to him, but Derek, if you could put that in there. If you live in Montgomery County, you can reach out. But I think for every county, there is a women's commission. There's a commission for women in every
Yeah.
county, in every state. So the states usually are the main head, and then the counties are the subsidiaries, just as we kind of know in our systems here. So that's awesome. That is awesome. Now, I know you have a book and other things that you do. This is your work. You outside the commission. Do you want to tell us a little bit more? If some people want to reach out to you, support your mission and everything that you're doing as well.
I've always been about, even when my daughter was in high school, I've always been about empowering women and girls. But one of the things that I actually connected to was a group of women where through a reentry program, we actually came together and did a Why My Mom book anthology. And that anthology deals with issues that we may have had growing up with our moms. And and I know from a Caribbean perspective, our moms can be tough, but I
Are
don't.
you kidding? People don't understand that this mother-daughter relationships are very difficult. They are very difficult. It takes grace. They're good to a certain, they're great until, you become a teenager, and then there is a conflict in ideas, but then you're still living on the mommy's roof. So you got to obey. And even as you get older, I was talking to a lady this week and said, oh, my mom is here. So I said, oh, I was asking if she lived with her mom. She's like, oh, H no, I can't live with my mom. I'm like, why? I live with my mom. I live with my mom. And she's like, no, 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 no. But my mom lives next door. I'm like, that's a waste of money. Why is your mom paying bills and you're paying bills? And she's like, it's best that way. I couldn't fathom for the life of me that her mother actually lives next door to her, but they live in a different apartment. And I'm like, you're wasting money, but yeah, it's not an easy thing. So I would love to read that book.
So yeah, it's called Why My Mom. I have copies here. You can always reach out to me through my email address, which you have, and you can post
Thank
DM
you.
DM Rojas 129 at Gmail. But doing the book itself, it wasn't all about it was about my mom, but when I got down to the nitty gritty, it was about what I was missing and how I behaved in regards to what I was missing. And then that followed me into adulthood. And in adulthood, I struggled with self esteem issues. I struggled with relationships. I even struggled being a parent. And a lot of time, our drama and trauma is from things that we did not deal with. And I always wanted to be, I'm my mom's only child. I always wanted to be the apple of her eye. I always wanted her to feel like I was this amazing individual, but she was very truthful. You're not that amazing. You're not that great. And I took those words internally. And I grew up feeling some kind of way because I was raised by my grandmother, and grandparents always know how to make you feel
So
loved
good,
and
and
so cozy, and
they
you
love everything about you. You can't do no
you
wrong
can't do
to
any
a
wrong.
grandma.
And my mother was just very real, and her realness impacted me greatly.
So I'm
And
gonna ask you for a favor.
yes.
Mother's Day, you're gonna have to come back here. We're gonna treat the book. I
Okay.
no, we have to. You're just talking, and God just I said no. Mother's
Oh,
Day, that weekend, that Saturday. No matter where you go, you will give me your 1 hour, please.
I will. But the thing is, let me tell you, the blessing in this is my mom and I, that's weird you said that. Last Mother's Day, because my mom lives in upstate New York, last Mother's Day, I said, Ma, let's get together on FaceTime for dinner. We're going to do this for Mother's Day. And I had already written the book, and she didn't want to be a part of the book, didn't want to read the book, didn't want to be bothered with the book.
She doesn't want to know everything you said about her.
I even sent it as a gift, and she said, no, I'm not reading that. That's your issue, not mine. So I actually had Mother's Day with her last year. And after that Sunday, we had such a good time. We had a great time. The next Sunday, I got a text message. So are we meeting for dinner tonight? I was like, what? Look at God. And do you know, with the exception of a few, we have dinner every Sunday.
Over FaceTime? Oh, that
Our
is so
relationship,
cute.
God worked it out where our relationship, we still have our moments because we're different. But
Different personality. People don't
we're
understand.
different.
Like you can never be your mom, and you're in a different generation. She's in a different generation, and yeah, especially with us girls, it can be very. Sometimes it could be a conflict of interest
Opinion.
as well as ideas and thoughts, and it's normal. It's normal though. So it says why mom? Why my mom? Is
It's
that the
called Why
title?
My Mom.
Why my mom?
I actually have copies here because all 9 of us are selling them. So if anyone's interested, I have copies here. They're $20. I can mail them out to you. But one of the things, not even just to me promoting or talking about this book, but I just want to say that as women, mothers, daughters, just women in general, we have to make sure that we get in tune with us and figure out if we have any issues, figure out what they are so that we're not putting our issues on someone else. If we need that deliverance, we need that deliverance, because what we don't deal with will manifest itself and hurt someone else.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. What are some of the parting words? What would you have us know and learn about the commission, about the resources, about reaching out, and all that?
One of the things we actually have the women's legislative briefing that's coming up on January 30th. And during that briefing, we're actually talking about the 2022 Maryland legislative agenda for women, where we're actually going to be discussing what's happening with our advocacy effort on these bills. That's definitely something. Just check out our Montgomery County Commission for Women website so that you can register for that if you're interested. One of the things I really want to say is we're moving forward with our priorities, but as women, I really want you to make sure that you're tapping in, whether you're here in the United States, here in Montgomery County, tap into your resources. Make sure you know what services are out there for you, because it's important, because you matter. And if you don't know what those services are, find out what they are, because you're a hot commodity. You matter, and we need you to be whole so that you are whole for the next generation.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah to that. Well, ladies, I'm sorry, I didn't notice, but there were a few questions there. If you have a question, please go ahead and post it. Miss Clarissa posted something. I would not go without reading your questions. Don't worry, I'll keep it here for another 2 hours. There are girls brought from overseas, especially hair braiders, promised chances to work and help themselves, but turns out to be different. They are given accommodation and have to work odd hours. Some are turned into sex trafficking against their will. How can they get help? Visa status plays a role.
I definitely think that we need to in Montgomery County there is a human trafficking task force. So it's important that if you are aware of something happening like this, to contact the Montgomery County Police Department and to let them know that you know of this. You can do it anonymously. You don't have to give your name if you know that's what's happening, because then that task force can begin to do a sting operation to see what's happening in this area, in this braiding shop, in this massage parlor, because that's how they're getting the word out now as to some of these entities that are doing illegal business practices from a human trafficking standpoint. So I definitely would say to report it if that's what's occurring and you have knowledge of it.
Okay. Miss Clarissa, was that a question answered for you? Okay. There's a little bit of delay. So here's my proposal. And it's a lot, it's something that I'm noticing a lot. I think that one of the initiatives that the commission can add, there are a lot of immigrant women who come here. They don't know where to go. All they think is USCIS. USCIS is not going to provide you with integration into society, community. I have a home care agency, and I've tried to hire caregivers for patients. And one of the ladies is like, I can't speak English, but I can work. I have my documents, everything. And there are women who probably don't even know who to go, who to turn to for things. And I think that it will be a good initiative that women who volunteer to hold their hands, especially when they come, America can be overwhelming. Imagine coming from your country, however small your community, and you just don't know anybody. You don't know where to go to resources. And a lot of women have been taken advantage of just because they did not know where to go, who to talk to, and all that stuff. And I'm happy to provide some insight to the commission on that because I'm an immigrant. I had to go through that gruesome process of people trying to take advantage of you and all that stuff. And so now when somebody reaches out to me, I am so moved to want to help them. And there are people who don't speak very well English. They can't read and write, right? But they can hear. So or they can understand when you speak. And there are a lot of things. And I feel like the immigrant population sometimes they feel very left out on all these policies and other things that are happening in the state, in the county, in the country itself. But it's a huge population, and they're contributing their resources, their time, their knowledge, their skills to the society and the nation as a whole. So it would be something that if you can bring it up and as you present policies and other things and bills and other stuff, but these are initiatives that we can do to get all women, all our voices heard on the table, because if not, you'll still be touching just a little group of women, and the majority will still be hiding in the corner and still suffering through it all.
And that's why I was just looking at on my phone, because we have services within the county, such as the Gilchrist Center and some of those other centers that are working with our immigrant population to make sure that they're being provided. So one of the things that I could say to add to this is we do have these discussions within our commission meetings, but of course this is something the executive committee and I can talk more about. But one of the other things is probably to look at listing some of those services on our website for the immigrant population, so that they are aware of what those services are.
And I think a lot of times too, when you talk about the immigrant population in America, people are looking at the Hispanic population. The
Exactly.
Hispanic population, yes, they do have numbers as well, but when you look at the African immigrant, Asian, Indian, those from the Caribbean, there's still a
Hmm.
huge number there. And
Right.
while the Hispanics, most people know what's going on, but most of the time, the African immigrant will be the one that probably doesn't want to be, they don't want to ruffle feathers, they don't want to talk out or speak up or anything like that. But I think it's time that we brought everybody out of the woodwork to really form a good global, whatever it is, whatever it is, but to make sure that women are protected all through and through, no matter where we are.
I agree. I agree. I think, and I look at it coming from a Caribbean background, even though we are U.S. territory, I still look at friends that are coming from Jamaica and coming from different
Mhm.
places, and them just having to find their way within like whatever state they're going to. It's
Mhm.
important that it's, again, I'm all about all encompassing,
That's
making
right.
sure everybody has what's needed to not just survive, but to
Mhm.
thrive where they are. Because survival is one thing, but when you're thriving where you are,
Another thing.
that's
Yeah.
from a holistic health perspective. So, and we don't want to cause, um, we have so many different public health crises.
Enough, right?
You know what I'm saying? I mean, from COVID to homelessness, I mean,
Oh,
we have so much going on. We really, as women, have to hold each other up, especially in these times.
wow. Wow. Thank you. Are there some volunteering opportunities as well, especially for our young folks who are in the youth coming out of college?
The commission has opportunities to volunteer. We have different events, we have different projects. We also have contacting that number now that it's refreshed my memory, 2407777. I don't know why I lost it for a minute.
No, you're a board
8333.
member, so it's
Right, I should have had that stamped on my forehead.
no, it shouldn't, because it's like it's one thing when you're the one that answers the phone every time. Then you
Right.
know the number. You're the chair, so you don't have to.
But we have those opportunities. But even calling for those women in Montgomery County that want to volunteer, we're actually, there's a group of commissioners that are actually putting together opportunities for women to volunteer where, even if it's helping us with compiling data, information about, um, our women's legislative briefing, how they can serve there. There are a number of things how to get involved in the Human Trafficking Prevention Committee and what efforts there may need some volunteer efforts. There's always an opportunity to serve.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, what does 2022 look like for the commission?
Ooh, 2022, as we embark on our 50th anniversary, we're still going to really make sure that we have a robust program that will truly help us to even move our priorities forward. A lot of this is being done online. We're hoping that we can get back out there into the community and see people face to face. That's one of the things that we're hoping for 2022. But we also want to make sure that women are not just coming to the table.
Hmm.
Legislation Legislation is huge. We really want you all to start looking at those pieces of legislation that impact you and start to speak up on them. Because what we want to do is not just to get at the table and have a seat at the table. We want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to dine and have those conversations that will allow us to close those disparity gaps, not just in Montgomery County, but throughout the state of Maryland.
Beautiful. Well, Miss Donna, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for everything that you're doing for the community of women wherever they are in the world. And I am going to definitely read the book. And I know that we're going to see your face here because we have to talk about that, the White Mom. I see a few postings. I'm not sure if that was a comment or question, but somehow the notes didn't come through here. So if I missed anything, I am sorry. Miss Charlotte says, a time well spent with you. We've got a lot of information from you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Hey, Merle, how are you from thousands of miles away? I hope you're doing well. There is Miss Donna Murray that says thank you. Everyone is saying thank you. So from our hearts to you, thank you so much.
I just put my email in the chat. If anybody wants to reach out to me, please feel free to email me.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook as Donna Marie. I'm on
Instagram. That was you.
That was me. I'm on Instagram at Coach D Rojas. The Montgomery County Commission for Women, our MoCo CFW. You definitely can reach out to us on Facebook and Instagram. And we have a lot of things coming up. And as you look on Instagram, on social media for the Montgomery County Commission for Women, you'll see all our seminars. You'll see all the various events that we have. And I think that will be a good connection for us to have with you as the Methodist women as well.
That would be great. And I encourage our women, we have to get involved in these volunteer opportunities, because that's how we're able to put our voice out there. That's how we're able to know what's happening around us, resources that are available, and then we can also bring it back to our homes and our church organizations. So thank you all. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will see you on the back end. Derek, are you there? Thank you. Derek, let's take a quick 30 seconds break. And when we come back, guys, we're going to wrap this up. When we come back, I have some information to share with you. So if Derek is still here, he is going to give us a quick, oh, you're here already. Well, we don't have to do the quick 30 seconds break then. So ladies, thank you. Thank you all for joining us today. Oh, thank you, Mr. Godfrey, the BJMFE. How am I going to get a copy of her book? Okay. Mr. Godfrey, her email is dmrojas, it's ROJAS 129 at gmail.com. She says to email, but I'll get some more information on the book. Today, she didn't want to talk so much about herself, but really about the commission. And that's why she focused on that. But I'm going to bring her back to talk about her book as well. Jifa Akiti, how are you? Good to see all of you. So I hope the information was helpful. I hope it was helpful. I know it was helpful for me, and I know most of you are typing in, so that's great. There are a lot of things to learn about our county, our community, our state, wherever you are. So please dive into it, get involved, okay? Dive into it and get involved. Oh my goodness. Next week, I don't know what your plans are for Christmas. What are some of the things you're doing? Anybody else traveling? Anybody traveling out of state, out of town? All the fun part? Well, next week, I will be treating a topic called Revive. Let me make sure I got my title exactly correct, because I don't want to give you the wrong title. Oh, it is Retreats to Revive. So I encourage you, if there's something you haven't done before, after next week's treatment, take a day, 2 days, or even 1 week, however long you want to take it, before this year ends. And that's what I want to talk a little bit more about, how to retreat, take a personal retreat. You need to take a personal retreat, and it helps you to revive yourself for next year. And I want to share, for those of you who like to go on retreats, I want to share some points and some things that you want to really focus on during this personal retreat. Because 2022, it has to be your year. It has to be a year that we walk in excellence, a year that we walk in no errors. You know, we have to walk in accuracy. And so I am going to go on a very long retreat. I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever weeks, but I encourage you to listen in next week. Invite somebody and it will help you. It's time to, you want to recap your year. You want to detox. You have to make decisions. You know, what am I taking out of this year? What am I taking into next year? What are some of the things I'm going to do? And then you come back revived, renewed, strong, and ready to roll. Okay? Be ready. Now, December 25. Isn't that amazing that Christmas is happening on a Saturday? That we have to do a broadcast. I really wasn't going to, but I can't miss this Christmas as of now. It's Christmas. We are going to have Miss Sherry Young and Dave there with this amazing jazz band. Do you know that she recently played for a charity concert for Jim Caviezel? Jim Caviezel is the actor who acted The Passion of the Christ. Have you seen that movie? The story about the life of Jesus and the crucifixion. Ooh, powerful, powerful. I saw it. I was shaking. I cried. That was years ago in the theaters. But she's going to bless us Saturday afternoon for Christmas Day. So I encourage all of you. I was thinking about maybe we could do it on Zoom so I can see all your funny Christmas sweaters. But please, if we did it on Zoom, we can't broadcast on YouTube. We can only broadcast it to Facebook. And most of people outside, Facebook also tune in via YouTube. So we have to be able to do that. But either way, whenever you come in, you have to let me know your funny sweater that you're wearing, your Christmas sweater. I have these bare bottoms. I think I'm probably gonna wear that. It's the most hilarious Christmas pajamas you would ever find. I'll try and wear that, or I might just go completely diva. So either or, okay? All right. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Jessica. I am going to get some needed rest. I'm going to get some needed rest because from Monday, I am super, super busy as usual. But I hope that you're also taking some time to get the rest that you need. Okay. Happy Saturday to you. Enjoy yourself. Let us pray before we leave. Father, we thank you. And we bless you. We thank you for the opportunity to be here. We thank you for Miss Donna's life and everything that you used her today to share with us, to impart to us, to relay to us, oh Lord. We ask, oh God, that we will be good custodians of the information that we receive and that we would apply it to our lives to a glorious and expected end. Father, I pray for everyone that is on this platform. It is my prayer and my desire that as we go through the holiday season, oh Lord, you would touch them right where they are. The Father, you know their needs, you know their wants, you know their fears, the very things that are keeping them even bound, that they cannot even lift their heads to enjoy. I pray, oh God, that in this season, that you will bless them. May the joy of Christmas lavishly be bestowed upon their lives. In the mighty name of Jesus, we have prayed. Amen and amen. I'll see you all next week. Have a wonderful Saturday and be safe out there. Bye-bye. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Jessica. Bye.